reported her injury to the hospital the day after the incident, that's on the 18th, and was further treated. There was no evidence of fracture on her left wrist or dislocation of her right shoulder, joint as documented by the medical records. She was, however, had been treated at the time we visited.
How is this going to erase that perception? Roland, how is it? And has it struck you that President John Dramani Mahama is currently in Singapore? When he got to Japan, there is a financing company called Degas, Japanese company, that is saying that they are going to invest $100 million over a period of 4 years. Get the figures right.
Degas.
Our president traveled 22 hours by air. So risky to go to Japan, to go and negotiate for a company to come and invest $100 million into the economy of this country. Now we have a president called Nana Akufo-Addo, ably supported by Mamu Bawumia, who had that almost $100 million in this country. They could not see the need to invest that money into agriculture, but they rather use it to dig a hole.
I was a very movie akwaba na yem found Brian platform we eso. Mobeka ya Rage Hospital and Sembi Nansia esi honum Ralph Japan, yes, Saint Ralph Williams. Ena oni nesi binyanta wantawani na anise Ralph no ko hospital or brana ninsa etwa na ewi akiri na chese attention na ohia no wonya enam so man pinchim ba ebusua bi nim di esi ye ewi akiri na chese nurse ni chiremu a Ralph akosi dislocation of the bone ninsa na afin so wonya fracture chese ninsa mubu abusua for sansen we na health minister Yura Minta Akando epaw eye committee bi se omontenase na omonhwehwe sanse ni mu ene omode report no ababonti no mochiremu a nurse na ode ne nsa to bibi mu asifse ne nsa mabu no first of all enye no kware, and secondly sena na ochese ne nompe ba bia chia ne de keka ho no eno nso enye no kware. Abusuafo ensem ne de yenko na intie mu chiremu yemfa credit emma channel 1 TV ono no mobo ayenya sanse ni bia ko ba ebeto aso.
Reported her injury to the hospital the day after the incident, that's on the 18th, and was further treated. There was no evidence of fracture on her left wrist or dislocation of her right shoulder, joint as documented by the medical records. She was, however, had been treated at the time we visited. Had been given some pain relief. He has been recommended for a bed rest and also has received psychological support care. The third objective, the state of security at the hospital at the time of the incident. Honorable Minister, the committee finds out that the security at the emergency department was grossly inadequate at the time of the incident. The hospital security arrangement of one private security personnel per 12-hourly shift at the emergency is inadequate, considering the volume of human traffic at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital emergency. A police post that is found at the premise of the hospital but situated far away from the emergency is also of concern. And the system is that anytime they have such altercation, the hospital has to rely on Adabraka Police Command to call for help. And that's exactly what happened in this instance. The last but not the least objective was that the committee also found that the number of staff on duty per shift in the hospital was woefully inadequate. The number of medical officers in the month of August is 1 doctor per shift. That's 3 medical officers per day who are permanently working in emergency, supported by 1 specialist per day. Any other doctors who come there as a team to attend to cases and go away. A total of 7 medical officers and 2 specialists were available on duty for a month of August as emergency room permanent staff. We also found out that, for example, out of 88 nursing staff who routinely work at the emergency department every month, only 54 are currently on duty at posts, with about 34 of them already vacated posts for various reasons. This has brought extreme shortage in the number of nursing staff who also support the emergency medical doctors. Honorable Minister, apart from the 4 main things, there were other findings that we want to bring to your attention. The committee also visited the nurse in question, the rotation nurse, Miss Chocho Rejoice, who was alleged to have been physically attacked and was receiving care at the hospital. When the committee visited, indeed, we saw the patient in bed. The document available to us from the medical record, as I already said, had no indication of fracture or dislocation of the said staff. And he has received some psychological support as well. The committee was able to chance on the specialist who also attended to her at the ward at the time we visited. And at that time, the staff had been discharged to go home and come for review. We also found that the emergency department of the hospital, Honorable Minister, is an extremely busy place with a lot of human traffic and clients seeking care at the same time. And almost 100% occupancy at all times. It means that every time the beds are almost all full at reach. It also received most of the trauma and acute referrals across the whole region, especially in the nearby areas where they don't have any medical facility, for example, La. And most of this traffic all flow to reach as a primary source of care during emergency. The last observation was that Mr. Opon, who was alleged to have been knocked down and who was brought into the emergency, and that called for the rest of others coming in, has also been seen, treated and discharged at the hospital. At the time we visited, he was fully conscious. He communicated fluently to us and had no obvious challenge when we went there. However, they have diagnosed him as having a base of skull fracture and yet to come for review on OPD basis to be seen. Honorable Minister, when we met as a committee, we received in-person witnesses. One of the persons we invited is Mr. Ralph St. Williams to come and testify to the committee. He agreed to come, but on the day of our appointment, he called with the lawyer that he would love to make a statement for the committee to use instead of being there personally for his own personal reason. So the committee agreed to receive a statement and evidence from him and his lawyer. Honorable Minister, I must say that I have just a brief summary of what he presented. The exhibit are all attached as a full document for your review and understanding. From his statement copy that is attached to our report, the witness stressed that his distress and frustration was escalated by a nurse who made provocative remarks in the context of emergency, and this triggered his response. He also stated that at no point did he physically assault any medical staff or witness any person from among the bikers assaulting a hospital staff. He also made another assertion that no patient was intentionally filmed or video or targeted as his recording, because everything he did was targeted toward the delay, and that he thought the committee and any other person must have that urgent concern to see. And the last submission we've had from his 6-pager report, that he has submitted 4 video exhibits, including a Facebook live video, as evidence to assist the committee, and the committee actually gone through and you have given a report in your recommendation. So, Honorable Minister, permit me to just make 1 or 2 recommendations, and the rest are found in your full report. With respect to Greater Accra Regional Hospital Emergency Department, that's REG Emergency Department, it's imperative that the following measures must be considered at your Honorable Office to, as a matter of urgency, to forestall any future recurrence. 1, we need to improve, there must be improvement in security presence at the emergency, the ambulance triage area, by adding at least 1 personnel more at the gate and ensuring that the gates at the ED are always manned by security personnel. Additionally, we also propose that the CCTV cameras around is very limited to some of the care areas. And so we propose that if it is not for any privacy, they should add on some more CCTV to give evidence and also ensure that the staff will know that somebody is monitoring them in their work. Also, the police office present at the mortuary area, we propose that at least at the weekends or night duties, the police must be present to support the emergency security, to just back up the 2 private securities they have. Number 2, Honorable Minister, we also propose that, recommend that you take immediate steps to support the recruitment of additional clinical staff. For Greater Accra Regional Hospital, we focus on staff who will support emergency care. The next recommendation was that you also address to restore the capacity of Greater Accra Regional Hospital in providing imaging services. For example, X-ray, CT scan, MRI, which are all 40 at the moment. And we believe that that is actually some of the gaps that is perceived to be delaying care at the emergency, even though doctors normally attend to clients on time. But the services for imaging is done outside. And then the fourth recommendation, Honorable Minister, was to appeal to your office to recruit additional administrative managers to serve as client service officers or customer care staff at the emergency department. We find that most of the time people come in there, but the customer care and client services is lacking. So people come in and get stranded, they don't know what to do. Whilst the emergency staff are also busily attending to patients. So we need to beef up the client service aspect of the emergency care. Other recommendations we added on, Honorable Minister, was to build human resource capacity for holistic emergency care in the country. This one goes beyond reach. And then when we are able to build that capacity for emergency care, it will minimize the rushing of people to the regional hospitals and then the pressure we are seeing now. We also recommend that we increase the number of secondary level facilities in every region. For example, Greater Accra may have 3 or 4 in addition to reach. And when these are done, it will also minimize the influx of emergencies all coming to reach, as we have been observing. We also recommend that we put measures in place to enable health facilities to acquire reasonably priced diagnostic or radiological equipment. That's what we call PPP arrangements, to facilitate timely patient care and reduce delays that needs referral to other places to have investigation. The last but not the least, Honorable Minister, the committee recommend that you provide avenue for continuous engagement and sensitization to the public. Many a time the public doesn't know what the emergency even does or what we do in the hospitals. So when they find themselves in that environment, they most of the time don't understand the dynamics. So we believe that if you have any avenue to educate public on radio, on television, or the ministry, it will be an avenue to allay fears and also educate the public on what the self people do. The last but not the least, we also want to look at the implementing agency, the Ghana Health Service, must immediately effect or support the nationwide emergency care. Their activity of building a customer care must be intensified, and then also ensure that health staffs actually adhere to the protocols of the profession. This will bring back the perceived loss of confidence the community may have in emergency services in the country. In conclusion, Honorable Minister, the above mentioned observations and recommendations may be addressed to prevent any set occurrences, as we have said, in our health facilities, Greater Accra region and Ghana at large. So the committee ended by saying that we support all the few things that we have proposed. There must be a training for security presence at all emergencies. Government or the ministry must address shortages of health staff, re-equipment, retooling of health facilities on diagnostic tools is very critical. And we believe that the committee is so grateful, Honorable Minister, for the opportunity given to us to serve. On that note, we want to say a very big thank you. And I have with me here the 48-pager reports, 2 of them, and also a pen drive that has videos and audios and other CCTV images that we receive. And these documents are for your examination and then for as part of the things we have recommended to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good. Yeah, I'm so very grateful to the committee, Dr. Lawrence Ofori Bodu, for the wonderful work you've done so far, especially with this very short notice. You were given 1 week within which to submit your report, and you've done justice to that. we have done this because we assure the good people of this country that when the committee completes its work, we'll make the findings of the committee available to the public. At this point, we have done that, and I can assure the public that we'll see to the full implementation of the recommendations. And I can hear far-reaching recommendations even going beyond Ridge Hospital. The next phase of the implementation of the recommendations, for me, is the most important stage. And so I can assure you that not only are we going to see to it that Ridge takes back its glory, but we'll make sure that whatever work you have done will also have positive impact on the rest of the health facilities we have in this country. Most of the recommendations you have mentioned, as I've heard, I am now going to take my time. We'll have a committee in place, and then we'll digest it one after the other and see to the full implementation. But at a glance and on hearing you, most of them we have already started working on it, and people who have monitored the media space will attest to the fact that I've on several occasions mentioned PPP, retooling of our health facilities and all that. So it fits well into government priority areas, and that we'll continue to do whatever it takes to improve upon the health sector of this country. And I'm very sure that we may not be able to make it perfect, but we'll improve upon it. And we are not going to put this report or recommendations on the shelves. Immediately, we are going to start implementing them. I thank you for the opportunity. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure you have any questions. I'm sure this is straightforward.
Thank
you very much. I'm sure you were in church on Sunday.
No, just one.
Please go ahead.
So with the observation, Dr. Kolibu made mention that you found out that there was no delay at the place. However, the one who was seen in the viral video is saying that there was a delay, and that was why he acted that way. I want to find out, is there going to be any arrests?
No, please. This is a fact-finding committee. They are not to prosecute. They are not to judge. They have presented their report. It's a fact-finding report that anybody can make good use of their report. And so, with the greatest of respect, let us not go into the criminal issue of the matter. That was not within their jurisdiction.
This was directed to the ministry, but I get it.
Yes. So please, I beg you, before we veer into any other determination. Yes.
Okay. Please, let's take Sarah.
Okay, since this is a document and the case is also pending in court, is it possible that it could be tendered in as evidence?
As and when they request for it. Okay. If nobody requests, it's our property. We cannot rush to the court and say that we have brought you evidence. If the court requests for it, who are we to refuse the court? So please.
City.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Minister. Some of the recommendations sounded quite pressing in terms of beefing up security and evidence and all. I'm going to give a time frame that probably the next week or two.
As for time frame of starting work on it, I can give you. But as to the completion of when that will be finally completed, that will be another thing. As for especially the emergency issue of our security, I can assure you today is what? Wednesday. By Monday. I mean, from here, I'm just going to give instructions for some of these things. In fact, the truth of the matter is that the very day we visited the hospital, which of course I was accused of greeting somebody, that very day I gave that instruction that they should look at the internal security. And I had the opportunity to also speak to the police. So some of these things have already started and they are in motion. Yeah. So I just want to give the public that confidence, that impression that, even if a committee is established, that's all. Only the announcement of the committee is what we hear. We don't hear the findings. Nothing happens to it. That's not going to be business as usual. In fact, I will also challenge you that whatever recommendation that has come, you also follow up to see that whether or not it's been implemented. I will challenge you to also do that.
Honorable, talking about challenging us to follow up, will you make some sections of the documents available to the
as and when necessary? As and when necessary.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We are grateful. Please carry the news out. Thank you.
So this has absolutely nothing to do with the criminal issue or the case in court. And we never try to comment on any case in court or any criminal proceedings. This has no bearing. Absolutely nothing. This is to guide us as a ministry. So the most important thing is to help us to improve upon the system. That is the most important thing.
All right, so abusia we and sama yakwa tiaba. Intina chese ayantro enana nurse no AD. Yes, per the minister no eka sorry per the doctor no Lawrence eka ye no. The reporter omo koya omo eye findings and ase omo ye research and omo ye hwehwemu no investigation no. Na chese nurse no ayantro ena odi ena sabi opeso gu St. Williams Ralph no opeso gu nani mase abusuafo we mega de mi nkan bebre because am say we betimi aye court ensem enti mame mfa nu si honom na ye nto aso ewo ye nkomodidie no eso na Solomon Owusu top leading member edema movement for change enche omo be dan omo ho political party yewra Alan Kojuchiramantin ne di animu na Solomon Owusu ensem bia waka any sabi punches bia dia mama MPP for na no ochiremu a some people for see omo ma amnesty so omo bra political party ni mu na say omo send the guidelines atoto honom empo omo chechiro omo ho a omo hwemu se bra ono Solomon Owusu ani Alan Kojuchiramantin ni omo maka omo free party ni no na party ni wo power anye na party ni ewo opposition e na mo beba yenti nsem odi tuda.
It's been, for me, based on observation, I think it's been very systematic.
Yeah, it is.
And deliberate.
Sure.
So, okay, so it's been very systematic, in my opinion, and deliberate. I don't know what you think, because after losing the election, they've had a number of committees in place. There are reports that have been cited. In terms of bits, parts, and pieces, people have reacted, whether it could be Davis Opoku or OPK and etc. But at the end of the day, there seemed to be a deliberate and intentional attempt to be able to strengthen the base, bring people on board, to the point that even people like you, now you've been included in amnesties and things like that, even though they say for you, you have to then apply. You can't contest leading positions, etc. Somebody will ask, is this not a good thing? Your observations. So
Roland, let me greet your viewers and let me say that Zato can never be careful unless the matter is involving the MPP. This morning he has turned into a religious pastor. He said we should pray for the MPP. When the matter is nationalistic, he would never call for prayer for the country.
I don't understand.
But when it has to do with the MPP, he says we should pray for the MPP. Why must we pray for the MPP? A party that is telling us that all these leaders that want to lead us are sinners. We are doing sinning competition, a sinners party. And take me to Romans 6:23 and let's discuss this matter so that we know what we are dealing with. Whether or not the one that created this world even believes in what they are doing. It says, Romans 6:23, that for the wages of sin is what? Death.
But the gift of life is, let me read it for you.
Absolutely.
Romans 6:23.
Yes.
For the wages of sin is death.
Absolutely.
But the gift of life is eternal life.
Fantastic.
In Christ Jesus our Lord. What has that got to do with the MPP?
So the people are telling us, from Baumia's camp, from Ken's camp, from Brian's camp, all of them are telling us that those that want to lead the party have sinned. And when you read Romans 6:23, it doesn't talk about sins. It talks about sin. So if a single sin is leading to death, then how much more 10 sins, 16 sins, 24 sins?
Oh, so how can you make
that is what we are dealing with, Roland. Now, so amongst them, they are going to give us someone who is a sinner. that the country must vote for that sinner to lead this country into prosperity. How do you judge?
Brian Champon,
Dr.
Mahmoud Bawumia,
they are telling us.
Kenny Japan, sinners.
Is good. I was here with you when we were discussing the hotel matter. The Labadi Beach. Were you not here?
I was also here.
Now the MPP members that were on set who defended it with their blood. Now it's a sin. They are saying this is one of the sins. And that I thought ladies were not throwing salvos. Dr. Wanekuya Amwaku also says that the time that they needed to discuss or project Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, they were using it to, as it were, defend a bogus deal that Brian was involved. And Brian and his team said, hey, wait a minute. We were not the only one that sinned. And that you, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, rise, meant for an individual's business, you stole it and gave it to people who were fasting. So it's your sin. And that the PDS that we spoke of, that it was a bogus decision, it was something that was just chop. Your boss, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, was involved. And they say, hey, hold on. You want to leave Kennedy out of this? Don't leave him out. He has also sinned. As for him, he called for the elimination of Everest and gas. He has been taking all contracts. So is that the party? Among these three, one of them is going to be the leader of the party. And you are telling me that the country must look unconcerned whilst they give us a sinner? No way, we cannot allow that.
So you're saying your classification of them as sinners is because of the...
I have not classified anybody as sinner. They themselves have classified themselves as sinners and they have identified. There's a difference between giving a verbal rendition. This one they have categorically, they have put it on the paper and they have enumerated. So clear. So it is not me who is calling them a sinners party. Maybe if they had come and said, once I was a sinner, saved by grace. Now they say, no, these people are sinners. But let's go into the matter. You see, after the elections, first of all, this whole idea of trying to expand their electoral college.
It's a good thing.
It's a hoax. It's a hoax. It's nothing to write.
Hoax?
It's just to create the impression that they are doing something. They are not doing anything. The total number of people they want to add up will not amount to anything closer to 10,000. Already they have about close to almost 200,000 delegates in the album. They took part in the selection of the flag bearer in the last elections. So what has changed? And it is not just a matter of expanding the register. It's a matter of who is leading the party, the kind of ideals and principles, how the people of this country view the person. Roland, you would agree with me that in 1998, when I was in the MPP, in that famous Sunyani Congress, less than 2,000 delegates went and elected J. Kufuor. Did he not win election 2000?
He did.
So it doesn't matter whether you are expanding it to 1 million or...
Well, they say the population has changed. The demographic is different.
So there is nothing different. If you expand a delegate system and the issues that led to your electoral defeat, how is the expansion of this delegate system going to erase from the minds of the Ghanaian that indeed Nana Akufo-Addo used $97 million together with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and all those in there to dig a hole? How is this going to erase that perception? Roland, how is it? And has it struck you that President John Dramani Mahama is currently in Singapore? When he got to Japan, there is a financing company called Degas, Japanese company, that is saying that they are going to invest $100 million over a period of what, 4 years. Get the figures right.
Degas.
Our president traveled 22 hours by air. So risky to go to Japan, to go and negotiate for a company to come and invest $100 million into the economy of this country. Now we have a president called Nana Akufo-Addo, ably supported by Mahmoud Bawumia, who had that almost $100 million in this country. They could not see the need to invest that money into agriculture, but they rather use it to dig a hole.
So you are saying those are other sins?
How is this going to erase from the people's minds so that they will vote for you because you have expanded your delegate system? How is it, or how is your expansion of your delegate system going to erase from the minds of the people that indeed the country called Ghana went for a loan of $750 million from Afri-Exim Bank to finish Pokwase Nsawam Road, to finish Swami Interchange, to finish Kwabenya Road. Money is finished, road not completed. How is it your expansion going to erase from the mind?
Money is finished, road not completed.
That is why we have that terrible situation there. And I don't know what the Attorney General and this administration is doing. That, hey, they must be very careful. The people of this country voted for a cause. They voted that you have promised them of Operation Recover or Loot. We are done with the funeral. The tears are over.
They should come back to business.
Come back to business. We have to come back. It is non-negotiable. How is it that the national service is still pending 548 million? We have not dealt with it. Well, we are not. It's not a child's play. Nobody must take it for granted. How is it that someone can use $15 million to go and cook wache and we have not attended to it? I'm talking about the alternative All Africa Games. So you expanding your delegate system does not mean anything. In any case, you say you are doing top down. When they did the Ashanti Region report, which is the true report of the MPP anyway.
The Ashanti Region report?
Yes, that is
true report of the MPP.
I mean, and hurriedly put up.
How do you draw those conclusions?
No, that is the breadbasket of the party. If the Ashanti Region finds its formula, then the party is on course. And now it is disintegrated. The party said, look, arrogance of power, corruption. They themselves were stating the issues that led to their defeat. Arrogance of power, corruption, the way and manner they bought or procured elections, and how they treated Mr. Lanchemante horribly. In fact, that was one of the key issues that led to their defeat. How is expanding this delegate system going to raise this in the minds of the people of this country so that they will look forward and vote for you? There is nothing that is going to happen to this. It is just a charade. And moreover, the car that got crashed the last time, I told you the car is parked at Apiga. Yesterday I saw it at Apiga. The MPP car is still lying there.
And these reforms,
yes,
Solomon Owusu, are supposed to make sure that the car is repaired or rehabilitated.
They are looking for a driver.
Brought back to
they are looking for a driver. They are not looking for
put the amnesty thing on.
They are looking for,
because the reason why they want people like you to be
coming. As for the amnesty, I don't want you to even go there. First of all, read the amnesty letter for us, and let's go. And let me tell you why they put up that letter.
Oh, yeah.
That nothing sincere about
Solo,
it.
you may be joking. You must be joking.
A bunch of people. Look, you read it. Like, you put it there. Let's go into it, and let me tell you why they brought that amnesty letter. You have it. So check the date that they
registration of additional delegate. Okay,
let's go through the date. When did they release it?
So the amnesty report is indicating
the amnesty letter.
Yes.
Give me the date they released it.
It's indicating that people like you need to return.
I want you to start from when the date that they issued this document is on the screen. I saw the 16th of August 2025. Is that not the case? Now, the 16th of August 2025 was a beautiful Saturday. They decided to release this letter on a beautiful Saturday. And I'll show you why that letter came on Saturday. Now, if you read the opening paragraph of their own release, they said at an emergency meeting of the National Council of the party on the 25th of July 2025. Is that not the case? Now, Roland, you only undertake an emergency meeting to discuss emergency matters, to come up with emergency solutions and release it immediately to deal with the matter. You go and hold a meeting on the 25th of July 2025. You classify this as an emergency meeting. Now, one of the emergency issues you discussed was how to bring back members that had left. You waited for 23 solid days before you released that outcome. What makes it an emergency meeting?
Why not?
And they did so because Alan Chemantin, the band to beat in 2028, had done a pre-recorded interview with Sandra Babu Boateng on his future political plans. Now, we were going to air the entire piece on Saturday, the 16th of August 2025, to the entire world.
Say this again.
Yes, Alan Chemantin had done an interview with Sandra Babu Boateng about his future political rendition, how he's going to behave going forward. Now, in the interview, we're going to air it fully on the 16th of August 2025. So we started sharing excerpts of that interview. So in the excerpts, there was a question that was asked, what will be your political future going forward? So he answered that question. Then these MPP people passed back, did their research, and realized that the answer to his political future was that he was going to contest in election 2020.
So you must
so
be
quickly,
you must be lying.
So that's what I'm telling you. I'm giving you the background. People do not know. So immediately on a Saturday that people were grieving, people were mourning, the MPP people found laptops on a Saturday, went to office, typed and released it. Bute signed it that, amnesty, you have granted amnesty.
Sandra, just
to create the impression in the minds of people that, we are
cannot be true.
But in
Zato is shaking his head. Says you are lying.
Oh, I'm giving it up. But he understands that he will only pretend. That's why today he says he's a religious person. I don't want him to come and say anything otherwise. He said we should pray. He should remain at the prayer level. We are not in prayer mood. We are dealing with the issues as it is. Then they realize that no, we have to issue a statement so that it will convince the millions of people that follow Mr. Alan Kyerematen to think that no, now all is well, they should go back. That they shot themselves in the foot by also exposing themselves in their release.
So this is deliberate?
Deliberate, but at the end of the day...
Because he says that, let me just apprise by you. We'll put it on the screen when it's possible. We hereby serve notice that this directive lifts all such suspension. And these suspensions are for members, whether it's for disciplinary cases, etc. And then he says that members who have forfeited their membership are required to submit a formal application.
So I am supposed to submit a formal application.
I don't know. Why? No, who are you?
According to them, and look, let me assure them, or let me tell them that when we decided to move with the movement, we were very mindful of Article 3H that talk of the NPP Constitution that talk about forfeiture. And so, what are we talking about here? You spoke, and I'm speaking, and you are talking about time. You prayed. I am not praying. We are doing different matters. So they are saying that I should reapply to enter or to be accepted.
Why not?
Why must I do that? When I was clearing my mind, when I was leaving the MPP. In any case, those that are even pushing this agenda, that Alan Kyerematen, Solomon Owusu, Hobson, and all those movement members that left are not welcome back, are people coming from Baumia's camp. So you, Baumia camp, you don't even accept people coming into your camp. But who told them that we are ready to come back to the MPP? We left the MPP when the MPP was in power.
You will not go back?
What are we going to do? Our political parties in the offing. It is coming live and clear. And let me correct an erroneous impression that he created, that the MPP has a base of 3 million. No political party in this country has membership of 3 million. There is no data that supports it. And
it's a voting pattern, is that not?
So they are not your members. Because they are not offered any alternative, they tend to vote for you. If you go to the two political parties, the MPP database, the only people recognized are the delegates who are not more than 200,000. So don't allow anybody to deceive your minds. Anytime I hear them that 2 million of our members did not vote, did you count them that they did not come out to vote or what? How did you know that the 2 million people, the so-called 2 million people that did not vote, were not members that supported Alan Kyerematen, and they said, after all, we are not even voting, even anybody that was...
Let me go to smart support.
So what are we talking about here? So please...
They said come back. You are here saying what we are talking about.
They have to come back to us. We are bringing a political party. Don't let us play a second fiddle. I'm saying our political party is not going to play any second fiddle to any political party in this country, and that we must be treated equally. We must rather grant them amnesty. To be talking to us.
You rather will grant them amnesty.
But if you have wronged them today, it's not right for us to grant them amnesty.
Yes. And let's also be factual, but also very much observatory.
Yes.
Which is, if key issues are being raised about the candidates themselves, perhaps a question could be raised that, well, this is an internal contest. So why should anybody beyond the periphery be worried?
Roland, first of all, don't let anybody deceive you that what is happening in the MPP is an internal contest. All political parties are public institutions. And so whatever is happening there is a public outplay. You cannot just say that it's because the MPP has its matter. Nobody should discuss it. So let's put that in the banner. And let me come to Professor Sapon. You see, one of the things that we all must try to do, there is nothing wrong in coming out and saying that you are an MPP member. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. You and I know that you are an MPP member. So if you come on air and you are doing that business, do it.
Who are you referring to?
Professor Sapon.
What has it done to you?
I am here defending my movement for change. And his opening statement is that when the matter is about the MPP, my energy levels are different.
You say he gets agitated.
Why
get agitated?
Why get agitated? I stated this morning right here that our political party is going to be formed. He has no clue as to what we are doing on the ground here, and we are not going to let them know, because he will not wish as well until we finish everything and unveils it. That is why we will see that politics is just like modern day building. that the way we build houses of today, we don't just go out and be started and building. You do all the building inside. When you come out, you just release it. So he must be told that when we are here and we are discussing our interests, I am defending my movement, and the matter has been put on the floor. I have knowledge about it. I'm discussing the same way he also has knowledge about it and is discussing. And he must not be refraining or running away from the fact that he is an MPP member. It's good for our democracy. And he has that right. After all, everybody is entitled to join a political party. Again, Zato says, my political party will never see
the light of
the light of day. And he has thrown a challenge. I want to assure Zato that I'm not one of those that will come and sit here and say something that I don't know.
That you don't brag?
Absolutely. That
the party, you're blowing hot air.
You see, the country Ghana needs our political party to take out this irresponsible opposition party. The MPP is becoming an irresponsible opposition. I wish TV3 would never bring any topic that has to do with the MPP, because this one I've realized that my brother is so fragile. He's so fragile. Yeah. He cannot even speak. Look at the voice. Now he is preaching. He has all of a sudden turned into a motivational speaker. That we are going to come out. We are going to come out. It was the same way that the CPP was shouting. We are going to come out. We are going to come out. CPP, where is it? When you press the destructive button, when you deliberately inflict onto yourself that distraction mode, there is no way you are going to come back.
So how did they do that?
I am telling you that.
Distractive button?
They did it. It was well orchestrated, led by Nana Akufo-Addo with his cabal. They did it beautifully. And it is now dealing with yourself. You are saying that you are going to come back. How are you going to come back? When a formidable opposition party is going to emerge. And we are going to make sure that we sell a very good message to the people of this country to see us as an alternative. A viable one as such to be able to move the forward march. And by the way, the reason why I brought in Diggers, that's the Japanese financing house, was not to say that they are not already in this country. I'm sure you missed the point. But let me reiterate the point.
About their financial outlay.
Yes, they say they are giving this country $100 million for 4 years period. Meaning that if it is going to materialize every year, we are going to have $25 million. My point is that we did not need President Mahama to travel 22 hours to Japan to go and solicit for this fund when Nana Akufo-Addo had expended almost $100 million sitting in this country digging a hole. That money could have been used to better our agriculture. And if this is the reason why the Ghanaian voted against you, what levels of expansion of your delegate system would raise this perception or this clear-cut breach of the people's trust to vote for you again? So what we are dealing with is not a matter of you expanding your delegates or system or adding former executives or new executives, 10 regional this. It doesn't mean anything.
Is that the way you're talking about your
it doesn't mean it. Which one is that? And let me deal with where you wanted to go. I have said this business of sinners, I didn't bring it. Have I manufactured sinners in this studio? Your own party people are throwing the jabs. They are exposing to us. And I hope Yoko, Office of the Special Prosecutor, FIC,
FBI,
but if Brian, you come and tell us
Special
that
branch,
on behalf
MI5.
of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he said on behalf of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he paid executives in the Eastern region $1,500. The reason why the city was depreciating like nobody's business. You see why the city was depreciating? $1,500. And you know why they did that? Because it was all about Alan Chemanti. Let us use money to force him out. You did it, your party is collapsing. Today you want me to pray for you. Instead of who goes to pray for his enemy? I'd rather spend my time to pray for my political party.
How do you think the impact of these being put out there, that 10 cents, I've even seen 16, etc., going to affect, the credibility? How voters will view these individuals as one of them will be elected as candidates?
So this morning when we raised the issue of sinners, and I quoted Romans 6:23, immediately Smart and then Zato, who has never quoted any scripture, all of a sudden found quotations. And they were quoted Romans 3:23. Is that the case? Now, if you look at the arrangement in the Bible, Romans 3:23 comes before Romans 6:23. Is that not the case? So if Romans 3:23 was telling you that all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. And then the same Romans come back in Romans 6:23 and tells you that for the wages of sin is death. It means after looking at the whole situation, you realize that no, you can sin, but the punishment of it has to be death. When you say you have sinned, Roland, you go to court and confess before a judge that, my Lord, I'm guilty. I'm very glad there's a lawyer here. It is not for you to say you are guilty and then the judge will say, oh, because you have confessed, go home. All that the judge will do.
Are you a Catholic?
All that the
No, are you a Catholic?
No, I'm
Oh,
coming.
please.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
It's disrupting your
You want
communication
to?
flow.
No, because when we confess,
No. That was okay.
Yo,
I
I'm
see the
coming.
strategy. You're trying to disrupt this
strategy.
communication.
No, but I'll finish.
He's saying that no,
I am more focused than he thinks.
in the sacrament of confession.
So when you go before the judge and confess your sins, the judge will say, fantastic. Now all that the judge will do is to go and look at the criminal code and look at the punishment there is for the very crime that you have confessed. So now that you people have exposed to us that you have sinned, Ghanaians have accepted it. Now it is for us to go and look at the extent of the sins that you have committed. The punishment thereof will be released so that we will know whether to give you 100 years in opposition, 200 years in opposition, or even make sure that you are destroyed.
Oh, but the voters will decide that.
But I'm a voter. I am a voter. And I'm telling you that for them to openly tell us that they are sinners is good enough for election 2028. And that is why the country will not settle on sinners. The country will settle on people
Angels.
who are sacrosanct,
Angels.
who means well, who are not corrupt, who will not misuse our funds, who will not abuse office, and rather settle on people who are well bent on developing this country.
Among the leading, Brian Champong, Dr. Mahmoudou Baumia, Kenny Japan get connected. Who is likely or who should be given the nod?
Who should be given the nod in their party? Me, I don't wish any of them well, so they can.
And to our cherished listeners, it's always a pleasure to come to them every Wednesday morning and do it for God and country. Sometimes if you look at political parties very well, there's a popular saying that they seems to be better, it's matter when they are in opposition than when they are in government. Political parties try to go back to their values and to their virtues and to their ideologies, mostly in opposition than in government. Because sometimes government, the day-to-day issues of statesmanship, of governing, box you down, and then it becomes kind of a muddling through. You are ruling from one day to another, you are ruling from crisis to crisis, and you deal them. There. So you want to see that. Secondly, political parties are very vulnerable, or most vulnerable, when they engage in internal party elections. That is where you see how vulnerable they are. Because internal party elections are sometimes like a fight within a family, fighting among loved ones. So it can be very piercing, it can be very dangerous, and it's very, 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 very vulnerable at that time. And so if you look at almost all the things that happen to political parties, sometimes, even whenever a political party breaks up or people leave to join, it happens as a result of internal elections. So political parties, so we must understand that it is. And it happens to all political parties. If you go back to our history, even with this current republic, I remember when President Jerry Rawlings was leaving, then there was almost this funka, whatever fights, everything's going. And from that time up to date, whenever political parties lose power and then they are trying to restructure, some of this is happening. So there have been massive or major departures. In the case of the NDC, we could talk about the Obeda Samoa, the Nana Kono Dajima Rawlings, the Guzitanos. We've seen it happen. In the case of the NPP right now, biggest being Honorable Alan Chamante, we've seen happen. So these things have happened before, and they are also happening along all political life. So let's just understand that political parties, if they ever needed prayers, I think it will be during their internal elections. Then secondly, do you look at what the NPP has tried to do after they lost the elections? Data upon data and research upon research has told them that, and told Ghanaians, because if you read it, that a lot of NPP members felt disenfranchised and felt not included in the last election, and they stayed home. That's a fact. So as a party, what then do you do when you have been told, or when you realize that this has happened? You try to re-engage and re-involve them. And the first thing the NPP did, was to say, we are open to change. We are open to reforms. It's a clean sheet. Come to us with any suggestion whatsoever that you have, that you want to happen. And I think the people who belong to the party and people who love the party did that. They took that opportunity. They submitted memoranda. They went there and then plus all these things. And then they put it together and they send it back to the same people to say, look, this is what you claim. So one, if you claim you love the MPP, then you should have participated in this process. My problem right now with some people is that when there's a problem and you refuse to be part of the solution and you only celebrate being on the and criticizing, it doesn't move the ball forward. It doesn't move the ball up.
I don't understand. Who are you referring to?
I'm talking to people who find opportunities and refuse to act and then only celebrate criticizing. So I was happy that the party did that.
You mean there are some people on the sidelines?
I'm just saying that it's important that whenever there's an opportunity to do good work, that people should invest in it and help to make the process better. They did that. And one of the biggest results of that was to say that, look, let's add more people. Again, this is one of the times I'm going to say, adopt the umbrella thing. Whenever people are setting up tents, bigger tents, whenever people are using umbrellas to bring more people, it's a good thing, especially in democracy. Democracy are numbers. So if the idea is that, look, we have our delegates were about 3,000 or your delegates were about 30,000, 40,000, you're saying, look, let's increase that by another 50%. That is good. Whenever you are bringing more people. You see, one of the biggest problems of corruption in this country starts with the political parties and their delegate system. If you really want to fight corruption in this country, you must go back and look at how political parties elect their leaders. You can go to a constituency that has about 50, 60, or 70,000 voters, and the delegates are just about 1,000. That means that eventually established candidates, well-resourced candidates, can easily, for one of the word, bribe their way through. That means that special interests can easily hijack some candidates and break their way through. When these delegates now win, the question is they have to pay back what they've done. So again, any political party that is opening up, that is expanding access, that is bringing in more people. I want to see a period where we will get where in this country where all party members of political parties will become automatic what? Delegates, where all party members can then vote to elect their parliamentary candidates, their presidential candidates, and their national candidates. In that case, with the numbers so huge, because if you think that almost the NDC and AP have a conservatively about 3.5 to 3.5 million votes each. If all these people can vote to elect their leaders, then the situation where incumbency can be abused is removed. The situation where bribery can be used is abused. The situation where one person can hijack that party can be removed. So I'm praying for that. But for now, it's very difficult for the NDP. They are going through the difficult thing. And I just think that the good thing is that they've done this before. They've been here before. All political parties have been here before. I think that they have the experience and the expertise to go through this bit. It's not easy. And if they ever needed prayers, this is what now they need it. This is when they need it.
Okay. Wanda, the NDC has gone through before, and he made references to the Fonka period. Emerging out of that, those who had to come back to the party, there were splinter groups. There even, and a great example is NSO Bempa, aka Abuapopon, who even had to join the MPP subsequently as well. So he says these are difficult times, but the precedent is there. Examples with the splinter periods of reform, post-2000, and then subsequently the NDC is back together, stronger than ever. So their period will come. Same observations. What do you say?
Thank you very much. Good morning to you, my former lecturer, Dr. Zato.
Yeah, this is the second time you're emphasizing.
He has never paid school fees yet. Very important.
And then good morning to Uncle Solo. I must say that the MPP have walked this path before.
I don't understand.
You see, after the 2007 primaries, where you had about the 17 aspirants, and that kind of led to their defeat in 2008, they made some reforms. You remember? And one of the reforms that they did was the introduction of the superdelegates conference. If you look at that reform, it was geared towards just one thing, to kind of cure having a lot of aspirants, like what happened in 2007. And that kind of gave Nanado the edge. And if you're a political actor in this country, you know that particular reform was geared towards pushing one ambition. That was the Nanado ambition, to become president of Ghana. That's what I'm saying. The MPP has worked this work before. So we must check these reforms that they are doing. We must really check and see what are they trying to push. Because we've seen it before. You see that now they've gone back to revoke or to take out the Super Conference after the Nanado era. So if you are coming with reform, it should be reform that will stand the test of time. That is why laws are made, policies are made. You don't make reforms or laws just because of an agenda. That's what I'm saying. They've worked this part before.
Wonder, do I get it that you're saying the first reform post 2007, making entry into the main election in 2008, was more biased and agenda based?
Yes,
and you're also
so Solomon de mi feel Solomon Owusu, mi feel nankasa the way a manner how I will see present the presentation sometimes oba TV so or kasa utim say the gestures, the points, and the argument BBI intact. Such is a very brilliant, communication. Or already on, then can people for hearing the most, but because of arrogance in Tina Mashdi Oran. Solomon Owusu, kudos to him. I really love him. Me penas and I like him. How was he presented the case? And anytime be me who news biano. Mintimin twam e wasem ye de me penny news diti na me de beso mo na muso munya biti. I was then people communicate and de bobo nchen or the koboha no de aboha no so no aboha sa enti wa hu de ekọ ntabushafo esem na de mame fa wisi enti Ralph e Japan baby obiano said the nurse ne kase wa born in sama ni self frichi and in Semobu need those kind of things, and in Hosa, Ghana, where are we going as a country? Hey, Maminja the rest, Emma Kevin the Kobody Taylor, and Twas or Honor. Jobe Cabiano, Shenanson, 7 rabbit twasso, and as a midway brow away and platform we saw. Yanko Ponshrow, Sawa Jimbre, now share Mega TV. Mesrow, so do comment betum. Now on the more serious note, what like page, what I say, the news in the bar like my na feel so share na adofonye bi hwe utim kra na fato WhatsApp platform u status any Facebook na nkofo intimi enyansem pa ne bi entie abusuafo yankopon hiro bibia makra bye bye.